So this question comes from Brian from Massachusetts, and his question is it better to be a landlord or to just flip the properties for an instant profit? That's a great question, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples of both. I'm going to show you an example of a property that I bought where I was a landlord and the profits and the income that I generated, and I'm going to show you guys a property that I flipped immediately, and I'm also going to show you the profits that I generated and the return on my investment. And I'm going to show you guys how to weigh out the difference between the two. So here we go. First of all, let me show you this example here. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in South Florida. The address is 1910 Sunnyvale Avenue. It's actually in Lehigh Acres. Let me tell you guys a little bit about this house. So I bought this house in November, and when I went to the house, you see, when you buy the properties using my strategies and techniques, sometimes the properties are already occupied, and sometimes they're already vacant. Sometimes you can move right in. Sometimes they need work. There's all different ranges of the conditions of the properties using my methods, but the bottom line is you buy them way under market value. So this property right here originally sold for $240,000. I paid $39,000 for this house. I went to the house, I knocked on the door, the tenant opened the door, very nice lady, wonderful woman. I talked to her for about 20 minutes. Let me explain to you the situation here. So although I bought this property using my methods for $39,000, the lady that was living there was actually the previous homeowner. She had paid $240,000 for the same property back in 2006. I step in, buy a house that's only been lived in for a couple of years, and I pay $39,000. So I paid just a fraction, like less than 20% of what she had paid for the house just a couple of years prior. So I come in, I pay $39,000 for the house. I knock on the door. It's our first point of contact. I introduce myself. Very nice lady. She tells me the story. She says, listen, Mike, back in 2006, the market was on fire. Me and my husband and my daughter, we bought this house. We were paying a high mortgage. We were paying $1,976 per month. $1,976 per month mortgage. Right after we bought the house, the market collapsed. We tried to hang on. We dipped into our savings. We took over $20,000 from our savings, and we were paying this mortgage every month. While we were being buried by negative equity, we continued to pay the mortgage each month. So we were paying $1,976 a month. Eventually, we just couldn't do it anymore. The market collapsed, and we had to walk away from the mortgage. So I step in, and I say, well, if you are paying $1,976 a month, would you like to continue to stay if I were able to lower that monthly payment? She said, oh, my God, this is our dream home. We love this home. We both work. We make good money, but paying $1,976 a month was just overwhelming. I said, listen, how about I rent you this house? I'll sign a 2-year lease right now, and I'll rent it to you for $725 a month. That's what you can afford. You're only making about $4,000 a month income. I'll lease it to you for $725 a month, and I will not raise the rent as long as you pay me right on time every single month. The lady literally started crying. And she made me a little bit of emotional too, because I knew that I was, she was telling me, Mike, I had so much uncertainty. I didn't know who was going to buy this house. I didn't know what was going to happen. All I knew is that this house was being foreclosed upon, and we really didn't know what was going to happen when somebody came in and bought it. Thank God you came along, and you're letting us stay. And if you look at it, this is a win-win situation, because I paid $39,000 for the house, and I'm getting $725 a month. Look at it. And I have instant equity in the house. So this is a win-win situation. I mean, look at how she's living. I mean, these are unannounced. I came in unannounced, and look at these pictures of the house. They're absolutely stunning. I mean, the walls look great. The kitchen, it's all tile floor. Beautiful place. So the bottom line is I signed a new lease with the lady. Take a look at the house. I'm getting over a 20% return on my money. Now, when I bought the house, I didn't know which way I was going to go. Am I going to flip this right away and make about $40,000 profit? Or am I going to rent this house out and make over 20% return, but every single year? So let me show you guys the difference here. So here we go. This is the house. This is example number 1. This is the rental. Then I'm going to show you the flip. The rental example number 1 is 1910 Sunniland. I paid $39,000 for it. My rental income is $725 per month. $725 per month times 12 months is $8,700 a year. That's pretty substantial. That's pretty substantial to be able to get $8,700 per year, but yet be sitting on so much equity. I could sell this house tomorrow for $90,000. It's $8,700 per year rental income, which is a 22% per year return on my investment. That's pretty darn good. But now let's look at the flipping example. Let's look at this house. This is 1605 Nelson Avenue. This is example number 2. This is a property I flipped immediately. So I bought it using my strategies and techniques, but rather than rent it out, I just flipped it immediately. I paid $40,000 for it. It's built in 2006, and look at this. The land alone sold for $49,000. I bought the land and a brand new house for $40,000, less than the cost of the actual land. And I sold it for $75,000. So my total profit in less than 6 months was $35,000. So I bought it for $40,000, I sold it for $75,000. I make an 87% return on my money, but I don't get that continuity income every month. So I don't get that income stream coming in of the $725 per month. So I make an 87% return one time. So what's better, to get a 22% return every single year, or to get an 87.5% return one time? Let's dig a little deeper. So in this example, there's no passive income. So there is no continuity income, but look at that return. You tie up $40,000, you get back $35,000. Profit. That's pretty good, because now you can make another investment and keep that money rolling. So to say that that's an 87.5% return is a little misleading, because it's actually higher. Because in example number 1, we make 22% per year in this example, 22% per year, but say we own the property for 5 years, that's about $40,000 we'll make, right? And rental income. And we have the equity sitting there. So if the house is worth, say, just as an example, 5 years from now, $120,000, that's a pretty conservative example. Considering the house was over $240,000 during the boom, to say it's going to be worth $120,000 5 more years from now, which is about $30,000 more than it's worth today, that's not a stretch. But say that you collect for the next 5 years that 22% return on your investment. But now go back to this example. In that same 5 years, what if you could flip that money over 3 or 4 times and make that $35,000 3 or 4 more times? There's no guarantees in life. I'm just opening your eyes to the different possibilities. Understand, I've generated millions of dollars in Florida. I've done both of these examples over and over again. But I don't want to make this a long-winded video. I want to get to the point. So let's compare the two. So when you guys are looking at this, on the left side of your screen is my rental property. The one that I've been generating that $8,700 per year return. On the right, that's the one I just make an instant $35,000 profit. So the rental earns you a 22% rental income, positive cash flow every year. The rental was purchased so far under market value that not only does it get a 22% return annually, but you can also cash out your $35,000 equity at any time. Understand, the markets are coming back. They're getting stronger. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait till these values get too far overinflated that you can't jump back in. Jump in now. The only decision you have to make is, do you want to be a landlord, or do you want to just flip properties and make cash flow? Either way, I show you how to do it. This series of videos, these are questions. This is an actual question from one of my students. What I'm going through in this season 2 of the webinars is the questions. When I get questions from my students, whether you trained with me at one of my boot camps, whether you own my system, or you're just part of these free training webinars, call me, 941-445-6764. It's just an automated recording, but you just ask your question. Anything you want to know regarding real estate. I don't care what the question is. Ask me anything about real estate. I've generated millions of dollars for my family. I've flipped over 400 houses. Any question you have, I will have the answer for. So as far as these examples, on the left, you have the rental income, which provides you a steady monthly income. Now let's compare that with the other side. On the right side of the screen is my flip. The flip property was owned for less than 6 months. $35,000 profit was made. I'm out of the picture. If there's a leaky faucet, a ceiling fan, that's not my problem. I already made my $35,000 and I'm out. 87.5 return on investment in 6 months. If I did that twice in 1 year, that would be almost 180% return on my money, which would be insanity. It would take 4 years of leasing the house to make the same money I can make in 6 months just flipping it. But that's a little deceiving because on the rental, it'll take me 4 years to make the same as on the flip. But in 4 years, I still have that free and clear investment. What if it goes up to $150,000, $160,000, $170,000? Then not only did I make $8,000 a year for the 4 years, over $30,000 in rental income, but now I can make maybe $100,000 on the flip. That's why it's so key. I'm showing you the benefits of doing both. The conclusion here, guys, is real simple. If you have cash, if you have a nest egg, if you've been working and saving your whole life and you've saved up some money, cash flow is the way to go because you have your money just sitting there. What are you earning? 2% in the bank? Tie that up in a couple of properties, earn a 20% plus return on your investment annually, and still have the equity sitting there that you can flip at any time and cash out your equity. I teach you to buy these properties so under market value that you can flip them anytime and make a massive profit and collect the rental income monthly. If you have little cash and need to build up those funds, so maybe you're starting out with a very small nest egg, or maybe you're really conservative and you just want to take a really small piece of your nest egg, tie that up into a property, and then flip that and build up your nest egg. Flip that property, get those profits back into your kitty and reinvest again. Keep that money working for you. Keep it flowing for you. So the conclusion is simple. If you have a lot of cash, you'll run out. Get cash flow. Supplement that income. Make sure money's coming in every single month. If you're sitting on a big chunk of change, it's just going to dwindle every single month till you're out. If you invest that money in rental properties and you're generating a massive passive rental income every month, that rental income will exceed the amount of money going out. It's pretty simple. But if you have very little cash, you should flip to build up your cash. Then once you've built up your cash, now you can start being a landlord. Or do both. If you want a combination of huge cash flow each month and a huge combination of generating massive profits, so you got huge chunks of change coming in through profits, and you got a monthly steady income coming in through rental income, it's an awesome combination. It's exactly what I do. I just wanted to expose you to both facets. I do a combination of both. I couldn't be happier. I love flipping. People ask me all the time, if you're getting so much rental income each month, why would you flip the property? Well, I just showed you. If in 6 months you can make an 87% return on your money, why not flip it? While you have other properties generating the monthly income for you. Does that make sense? So at all times I have massive income coming in monthly, passive income, and I flip many properties per year and generate huge chunks of cash that I can flip into more and more properties. This is what I do, guys. Get motivated, get excited. This is the best opportunity you're ever going to have. Stay tuned for my next webinar where I answer the next question that I got from one of my students.